Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a tutorial to show you how to make this new style little pocket that I've made. I think they're new. I don't think I've seen anybody doing these before, but if I have, I do really apologise. It's literally just, you know, that I haven't come across them. So yeah, I haven't tried doing this before where I've like filmed the item after I've made it and then gone back to make it. So I hope that this kind of works okay. Yeah, so let's get on with how to make it. So basically what I'm going to need, or you know, if you're going to be doing this, what you're going to need, I'm using 2 A4 printed piece of paper. The reason I'm using those, I quite like the feel of it when it's kind of done, when it's been made from the 2 sheets of the copy paper. So it's just regular copy paper. I happen to be using my nostalgia kit, but obviously you could use, you know, whatever you like. And then what I'm going to do is just Mod Podge the 2 sheets together. It's probably best that you have something that's going to coordinate kind of nicely, because you're going to be folding it over, so you're going to kind of effectively see like the inside. So, you know, that's kind of the only kind of tips really that I have there. Now we will be cutting this down, and you know, if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know I do not measure. It's very much kind of, you know, as it kind of turns out, or as the size kind of suits me at the time. So, you know, you probably could cut this down first. I don't, but that's just purely, you know, purely kind of my method. But you may prefer to cut yours down kind of beforehand. So I'm just going to kind of glue the whole thing together very roughly. It doesn't have to kind of be right to the edges or anything, because, you know, we can kind of tidy it up afterwards. So just pop your pieces of paper together, sandwich them together. This is where I quite like to use, you know, I mean, mine happens to be a Starbucks reward card, but yours could be kind of whatever you like. Just to spread the Mod Podge out. Now, obviously, again, you know, you could do this on kind of thicker cardstock that just happens to be double-sided, or, you know, scrapbook paper from a kind of paper pad, or, you know, anything you like. I just happen to quite like the feel of kind of the doubled over copy paper. You know, but as I say, that's not a kind of hard and fast rule at all. So, you know, feel free to kind of adapt it to kind of suit your style. So I'll just pop the lid back on the Mod Podge for a moment. Right. Now, what I'm going to do is, which side is stuck down better? Probably much for muchness. I'm going to just take my side where I want it kind of folded over, like that, and just kind of roughly fold it, you know, where I want it to kind of go along there. And then the way that I find it easiest to do is kind of fold it roughly then in half, leaving a gap, so you've got a gap to kind of tuck things into your pocket. Now obviously this is not ideal because my Mod Podge is far from dry. And then you will be able to tuck in your other side more or less kind of the same size pocket, if that makes sense. So then you're obviously going to cut your pocket down at roughly the same sort of size. So I will just cut mine along here. I mean, you know, as you can see from this, you may have a better method that suits you. This for me, just, you know, this is something that suits me. So, you know, you may prefer to cut yours down to size before you get started. You know, but for me, this kind of method works quite nicely. So, you know, feel free to kind of adapt it as you need to for your own kind of purposes. So, and then you're just going to kind of fold it down, fold it over the right way. So obviously at first we folded it kind of backwards, but now we folded it kind of in upwards like that. And then you want to trim it to kind of the size you want it to be. Obviously, you could leave it as a huge, great big, you know, A4 size pocket. So if I just pull in a journal, well, I mean, this is far from a journal, but one day it will be. You know, you could have it as a kind of full A4 size pocket like that. That would be fine. Personally, for me, I'm going to chop this down. You know, never say never. I may have a time one day where I do have it as a full size, but for this, you know, today I'm going to kind of chop it down smaller, so it would be kind of more mid-size, kind of like that. Move that back out the way. So, and obviously it's up to you whether you want to keep your little scraps. You know, you may be able to kind of find a use for them later. So at this point, you know, kind of as you saw, we didn't kind of really go to town with the Mod Podge. So this is the point where you can then tidy up any edges that kind of didn't glue down properly. So I'm just going to take my glue. Obviously you could sew here, you could sew around the edges. I mean, you know, I've said before, I just don't have my sewing machine up here at my desk set up. So it's just not really practical for me to kind of do that without stopping and starting the video, which, you know, it's just, yeah, it's just not really that practical for me to do that. So, you know, I will just glue it down. Personally, I think the glue looks fine, you know, but obviously if you wanted to stitch it, now would be the time, because you could stitch all around there. And then what we're going to do is kind of glue it shut here. You could then stitch it down here as well. You know, that would look beautiful, but as I say, I just haven't got my sewing machine kind of in a situation where I could kind of easily do that, you know, just quickly and easily. And then just go around any edges that, you know, you need to kind of tidy up. But yeah, that would look absolutely lovely, obviously, with the stitching. You know, so if you wanted to do that, that would be lovely. So just go along any edges. You know, I mean, obviously, if you made a better job of kind of Mod Podging it, you wouldn't have to do this. But, you know, for me, this kind of works fine. Because then I've also not overdone the Mod Podge. So I haven't got that completely kind of, you know, Mod Podged kind of feel of my paper. So, right. So that's my little folding pocket. And then all I'm going to do is, because as I say, I've not got my sewing machine, I'm just going to glue these two bits here in like that. I probably should have done this actually on a piece of paper so that it was a bit clearer without all my rubbish on my desk. Let me just see whether I've got a piece of paper now. It might be better late than never. Hold on, guys. Okay. Just pop a piece of paper down so it's a bit more attractive to look at than my really messy, horrible chopping board that I use. Well, worktop saver, I think they're called, aren't they? So just kind of glue it down at the edges there, like that. So then what you've got is effectively a kind of little booklet with little pockets kind of inside. So, you know, I mean, you've heard me say before, I never do anything that's complicated. So, you know, super simple, super quick and easy, you know, just comes together kind of really quickly. And then obviously you could kind of decorate it. So I'm just pulling in a couple of things from my nostalgia kit, seeing whether I've got something that's just kind of, you know, shouting out that it would kind of go there. Maybe a butterfly. Got a rose there. And I've got some tickets. So let's just have a look. Or I have got some tags actually. Look. Right, so let's have a quick look. Oh, maybe a ticket on there might be really nice. Yeah. So what I might do, this is just a ticket from the kit. And so I'm just going to punch the hole. Just there. Take one of my little hole protectors they're not hole protectors. I don't know why I always call them that, sorry. And excuse my arms reaching across. My little holes, they're hung at the back of my desk. You know, I've got a shelf behind my desk with a few hooks, and that's where they're hung up. So there we go. And I'm going to pop that there. Let me just kind of move these out of the way a bit. And then just rearrange myself because I've now got all uncomfortable. So going to use, I think, a butterfly as well here. So just take one of these butterflies. Like that. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Yes, I'm hoping to finally get round to having a bit of a play with this nostalgia kit. I've got loads of kits, obviously, that I've created that I just still haven't yet got round to using. So I'm hoping that I'm actually going to now start playing with this one. So it's just lack of time, isn't it? And kind of, yeah, lack of time really. So I wonder whether I could just pop this tag on some lace. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look gorgeous? Oh, I just love it already. Right, actually, I've just spotted at the back of my desk, I've got a smaller piece, so it's a bit easier to handle. So let's use that for this tutorial because that would be a little bit easier. So decide which way round to kind of, you know, get the most from my lace really. So I'm going to pop it on here, I think. So I'm just going to pop it on with the wet glue. Like that. Just pop it on like that. Okay. And then just cut around there. Like that. I'll just trim that down at that edge because it was quite gapey, you know, kind of gaping around. And then just trim it down there. And then, you know, so we could pop that on there. And actually what we could do is pop it on like a pocket in itself. I just want to pop on, I think, something as a, oh God, what's the word? You know, tab. That's the word, a tab. So I happen to have this bit of lace here hanging around on the desk, so I could just maybe pop that through. I wonder whether I could just kind of, you know, tear that lace open. Okay. Like that. This might bulk this out too much, I'm not sure. Actually, what I should do is do it but not through the lace would be the smart thing to do, wouldn't it? So let's pull that back. Don't know whether I'm going to be able to loop that through. It might be too short. Don't think that there's quite enough lace there, unfortunately, so that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? So let me just see what else I've got laying around. It's always nice when you can just grab something that just happens to be laying around on the desk, isn't it? So hold on. And my desk's such a tip. There's nothing that's not hanging around on my desk. Right. Well, this isn't hanging around on my desk, but it's just in my little bag to the side. So I'll just thread some of this pink ribbon through because actually that's quite pretty. And again, probably better to just loop it through the tag and not the lace. So I just do that. And again, I might have to pinch Artie May's little method here of kind of popping a little bit of eyelash trim around there. Now I'm sure when I did this before, I maybe did this off camera because I found this very fiddly to do. So I've got my eyelash trim. She actually didn't kind of like tie her tag up, if you see what I mean. But my tag's already tied, so it's slightly easier. And then she just kind of tied the eyelash trim around, so I'll double knot it, but kind of go in the opposite way. So hopefully it will stay knotted and won't come undone. There we go. Right, it wasn't so fiddly as last time. It probably helped that this time it was a ribbon and not lace, because that definitely was very fiddly with the lace. Just going to trim my ribbon down slightly because it's quite long. Oh, doesn't that look pretty? We got there in the end. Let me hang my eyelash trim back up on my little hooks. Right, okay. So that's that. And then I've got my butterfly, which I'm going to put here. So what I'm going to do... Oh, I'm now stuck onto the paper below. Right, my videos seem to be turning more and more into just disaster videos, really, of how not to do things. So yeah, I apologise again. Right, so I'm going to have a little bit of bling kind of on my butterfly because I love it. So I'm just going to pop that on like that, and I'm probably going to hot glue this down, I think. No, actually I'm going to wet glue it. I just thought I would hot glue it so that you guys weren't waiting around, but actually I think it will be fine. So just going to wet glue this down like this, and I'm doing it on 3 sides so it's another pocket on the front of the pocket itself, if that makes sense. So pop that on like that, there, like that, and then I'm going to pop my butterfly down to the side. I will hot glue the butterfly like that. Don't want his wings overhanging the side too much, because obviously when it opens I didn't want them getting bent over. And then I'm just going to put my bling in the middle of the butterfly. Oh gosh, come on. Like that. Oh, how pretty is that? And so then I just cut down a couple of my pieces here. So just got a ticket here from the kit. And obviously, I mean, you know, the pocket itself is quite decorated up now, so it probably doesn't really kind of need anything else doing to the bits that we're going to pop in, because, you know, it's quite decorated anyway. But inside you've got then pocket here, which actually is not quite big enough for that ticket. So let me have a look back through my little pieces. I haven't cut out all the pieces yet of the from the kit, so these are just a few of them, but there's quite a lot here. I have got a tag, which actually the tag just slots in there quite well. So we've got a ticket, we've got a tag, and then on the front we could pop in, let's have a journaling card maybe, if this will fit. This might be a bit long. Yeah, I think that's going to be a bit long, so let's see. Shorter. I mean, I can trim them down, obviously. Let me just have a look and see whether I've got anything smaller. Got this ticket here. I mean, this is why I just love to have like an abundance of things, because you know, I love to have loads of stuff to be able to kind of just grab and decorate and stuff things with. So hopefully this is going to now fit in there. There we go. So we pop that ticket in there. So there we go. Hopefully that tutorial kind of came together okay. It was touch and go for a couple of moments there. So I'm just going to pull in my journal to show you how that would look and how that would work on the page. So here we go. We've just got, you know, I would stick that down like this, and then I would probably leave it, like glue it down on 3 sides. So you'd have then a little pocket here, or tuck spot pocket. Then you've got obviously the pocket here with the ticket, which I maybe have glued in now. Nope, luckily it's coming out. It might not for long, so I might not actually pop that in there until the glue's dry. And then obviously inside you've got another couple of little pockets in there. And obviously, you know, you could put thumb holes in these, you could decorate them up with some lace trim, you could, you know, do whatever kind of you wanted. But I just thought I would leave them kind of plain really for the time being. Obviously, again, you know, you could kind of close this with a paper clip, you could put some string around it, you know, lots and lots of different ways to use it. But just think super cute. And this one feels really nice. I really like the feel of gluing the 2 sheets of paper together. It makes them feel kind of squishy. So yeah, they've got a kind of tactile thing going on with them. So I hope you like it, and yeah, give some a try. Hopefully you'll find them quite fun too. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks then, bye.